So I picked up a bunch of stuff. This is the valve I needed for the washer fluid. Came out to 98 bucks Canadian for this little valve. But you can get them from Napa. I'll put a link in the description. That's for I think 56 American. So by the time you add conversion and tax, it's about the same money. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Comes with the actual knob, which is what the one in the dash has also. It's not the right knob, like it's not the old school knob, but it's the same knob that would be in a newer Peterbilt, like the 85 has. This is my light that I'm going to use for footwell lighting. And this is the center post for the inside, a stainless center post. Kind of dresses things up. This flap, it is missing on my truck. You'll see where it goes, but it goes under the heater core, kind of beside it in the driver's side footwell to hide all the wiring. So I'm gonna probably mount my light on there. I'm not sure yet exactly what I'll do with that. And this is the heater core cover. And then that is the AC control cover. So I guess this episode's gonna be installing all of this stuff. Alright, center post trim. It's a simple setup with this kind of 3M double-sided tape. And then this is the cover to protect it from scratches. So I've already test fitted it and it works pretty good. So I'm not sure why I'm doing this with my left hand. I want to give me a second here. Alright, now it's a fairly simple process. I have everything peeled and started. It's a tight fit. The CB is kind of in the way, but with a little bit of finesse and a little bit of sideways, you can get it to line up and just get it. You kind of want to pay attention to the top. Make sure you're not gonna, or make sure you can see stainless all the way up, because if you have a gap at the bottom, you don't care. You've got a whole inch that you can have it too high and it's still going to look fine. But make sure that your top is tucked away behind the upholstery. And then just press and keep it tight for a little while and then peel the stainless off and it will be good. Okay, now the lower trim panels. Part of the reason I'm getting them is because of this hole. That used to be the old suspension switch. Now I just have a blank hole in the dash. This is also a blank hole, but it is for the AC valve, which is missing. So I can get that from Dirk's. So I'm not worried about that hole. But the cover I have, you can get one for an indicator light, and then you can get one without an indicator light. So I got the one without an indicator light because I don't have one, and that way it'll delete this hole and it'll dress everything up a bit. Maybe I'll just do some before shots here. The only thing I've done so far is put the shiny knobs on the sliders there. So this is before. I'm trying to figure out if I can preserve the wiring diagram on the back of this panel. And I noticed this, which this lines up with the slot between the blower fan and the heater core. And that looks suspiciously like a mouse was sitting against that for some time. Like a head in the paws until someone smelled it and got rid of it. That would be kind of suspicious. That's what happened. So the back of the panel, the old one had this foam on it, or foam in these spots, so I put foam on new stuff. The heater core tubes were kind of imprinted in the old foam, so I put this on just to protect it from that, and then I used the old clamps to put on the old Peterbilt emblem there. Alrighty. Well, that looks pretty nice. I'll get out so you can get a better angle shot of it, but in typical Roadworks fashion, it's not quite right. These holes are a little bit off to match up with the bolt holes in the cigarette lighter. I actually pulled everything out of the dash, put the panel on, and then kind of used these to center it best I can. And I actually used these two to pinch it a little bit, because the adhesive just isn't working. If you're only fastening these 3 screws, it's gonna spring the panel, because it's gonna crimp this together a bit, and in doing that, that's gonna cause this to bulge. So they have 3M tape around the whole thing, which is fine, except, I mean, ideally these holes should just be smaller, and it should be designed just to pinch the ashtray and the AC controls. Just use them to pinch it against. But the way it's set up, the holes are actually supposed to fit over this, which is great, except then you have to get these in exactly the right spot, and so far they really haven't been doing that. Same with the door sill pieces, which I still have on. Some guys told me just to take the upholstery off and polish the actual aluminum sill, except the driver's side one is broken, so it's riveted together, so I really have to use the Roadworks covers because I just can't have the bare rivets showing. So anyway, it really wasn't that hard to do. I need to clean my sticks up again, they're a little bit rusty, but yeah, I'm pretty pumped with how that looks so far.